Who are some of the best Boston rappers in 2024? What's up, everybody? Welcome back. So, I got another fun one to do today. You guys are just making this too enjoyable for me. So, I teased in a video a few weeks ago about the history of Boston rap that I was going to make some content in the near future about the current Boston rap scene. And I'll be clear about this from the beginning. This is about Boston rappers. I'll make future content about the best Massachusetts rappers later if you guys want. That's my plan, anyhow. So I just want to get this out of the way. Millyz will not be on this video, and it's not because I'm a Millyz hater, it's because he's from Cambridge. Millyz is pretty clear about the fact that he's from Cambridge, but there's still a lot of Boston cats that resent that he's even associated with being from Boston from people outside the area. E. Burton, aka the Project Prince, who shout out, he might be one of the most entertaining personalities from the Boston rap area scene. He made a really good point in an interview saying that guys from Brockton or Cambridge can go anywhere in Boston to any store, and guys who are actually from Boston and grew up in it can't move around like that. So naturally, they resent guys from other Massachusetts cities when they claim Boston, especially when they didn't grow up under the same circumstances. For real, shout out to E. Burton. That guy's a character. I really dig him. He's a riot. So this, of course, is all opinion. Obviously, I'm taking into consideration views that the artists get on different platforms as well to gauge their popularity other than just my personal taste in music. I think it's pretty clear to most of you guys that I love rap and have been a hip-hop head and a rap nerd since middle school when I first found 88.9 at night WERS. I first fell in love with rap in the mid 90s, but I always try to stay current with the new music and different trends that are happening. Luckily, the internet makes it easy for a 41-year-old guy to do this. I don't do social media, but I listen to a lot of music online. I've always liked the local rap scene and followed it. I like the hardcore music of RSO, Later Made Men, and the conscious raps of Mr. Liff and Acrobatic as well. Boston has always had a thriving rap scene and culture since the very early days, and it's probably even more so now. Almost every hood and project has a rapper or multiple rappers. It's just that they're not getting a lot of exposure outside the region. I don't think people from outside of Massachusetts know about Boston's very deep music scene along with its intricate street and hood culture. It's basically a secret world to outsiders. Honestly, that's Boston's main problem. The hood politics is so deep and so complicated that it's hard for an artist to break out and become a bona fide star. It would be easier for a Boston rapper to move out of the city and make it big somewhere else than get big at home in the bean. People don't understand how deep the street stuff goes in Boston. It's not some made up drill era thing here. These hood beefs go back all the way to the late 80s and 90s in some cases. It's to the point where a lot of guys from certain hoods won't bump someone else's music because they're from the ops block. If it's nearly impossible for the whole city to get behind one artist, then it'll be very hard for them to break out. Also, another good point made by E. Burton is that there's no one big producer from Boston that gives the city a signature sound. People from outside the region most times wouldn't have a clue that the rapper they're listening to is from Boston. Especially when most people from outside the area think that there's no rap scene here. They either think that it's still a white Irish city, which was only true for certain neighborhoods, not the whole city anyhow, or they think it's a city full of rich white yuppies and there's no hoods at all. Boston has a lot of talent though, and the thing that I like is that most of the well-known famous hoods are still producing rappers. With gentrification pushing the hoods into smaller and smaller pockets, it's cool to see that most of the classic hoods are still being repped. All the guys in this video are from famous, well-known hoods in Boston. So let's get into it. I really didn't want to do this in like a list form. I feel bad ranking them, especially when some of the guys on this list really don't like each other. I don't want anyone feeling disrespected if someone else is put in front of them. Anyhow, let's just start it like this. One of my favorite current rappers is Capone. Wavy is from Harbor Point, one of the most notorious projects in the whole city. It was formerly known as Columbia Point. My father lived there till he was like 8 or 9. The city tore it down because of its terrible reputation, but Harbor Point isn't all that much better. They have many ops in the city, but Wavy is a very talented rapper. He's from a younger generation, so I don't always vibe with everything he puts out, but he definitely has skills. I guess when he was young, he got picked up on a serious charge, but it was later dropped. It was some sort of mistaken identity. I'd like to find out more about that particular situation, honestly. It's probably an interesting story. I don't know. I'm interested to hear more about it. But some of his best songs to check out are Trench Poetry, Capture the Flag, Stay Dangerous, and the song Gangsta that's got a little intro with Ray Liotta playing Henry Hill from Goodfellas. He's pretty funny too. I've heard him in interviews saying he doesn't care what people call him as long as they just like his music and they're fans. He said you can call him Wave Capone, Capone, Wavy, Wavy Baby. It doesn't matter. Just listen to his music. Also, he does this little thing in the beginning of his songs where he says, "Help me help you." I guess it's something that his father used to say to him. I also heard that his pops was a big OG back in the day, but I'm not sure exactly who he is. But Wavy is talented. He just released a track called Fishes to Sharks, which is pretty good. But my favorite track of his is Law and Order. He rips that track. They got a little sample in the beginning of the song. It's the theme music from the old school Law and Order show. Then the beat comes on and he starts dropping bars. He switches it up like 4 or 5 times in that song with the tempo and the beat. He proves he's a dog on that track. So definitely go check out his music and support him, along with all Boston and Massachusetts artists. That's always the main objective on my channel. Alright, so next we're going to talk about Side Street Cappo. He's also from a notorious hood, H Block. You can see in some of his videos he's on Humboldt Ave going into Trotter Park wearing a Raiders hat, which is what Humboldt used to rock back in the day. H Block is named after a cluster of streets that begin with the letter H in Roxbury's Grove Hall neighborhood. Grove Hall still to this day is an active neighborhood, but back in the late 80s and early 90s and mid 2000s, it was insane. Most definitely one of Boston's most dangerous neighborhoods. Side Street Cappo is associated with Shooters Music, who are a collection of artists from that hood. They were behind a movement a few years ago, and you could see people rocking their t-shirts around the city. 8-Zip is another rapper from the collective who is entertaining to listen to. He wants to declare martial law on all police informants. But Side Street Cappo is the best rapper out of the group. I've seen them in artwork for an album standing on the Humboldt and Homestead Ave corners. Cappo's song I'm Back is fire. It's a hard-hitting track with well-delivered verses. Very accurate description as well of being locked up, down and out and can't get a call, but when you're up, everyone's your homie. The hard rap song with the video filmed on Humboldt Ave and Trotter Park made for a great backdrop as well. Side Street Cappo shows his versatility on the track Better Now, which is a completely different song and style than I'm Back. I think he absolutely has the talent and the sound to be big outside of Boston. We'll see, like most rappers from Boston, he needs to navigate the tricky world of the city's hood politics, and H Block has many ops. It's hard for them to get support from other hoods, even though they're good rappers, and in Side Street Cappo's situation, a fire rapper. I just started listening to him, but he's definitely incredibly talented and deserves being on this video. Alright, so next I'm going to talk about this rapper because even though he's probably the most famous rapper outside of Boston from the city, he's one of my favorite personal rappers. He's currently incarcerated and he's not out on the streets making music right now, but you can't leave him out of the conversation. G. Fredo. I made a video about him in the Cape Verdean conflict when I first started my channel. It's embarrassing for me to go back and watch that video now. I got like 40 views when I first released it, and I should really take it down and make a new one, but it's getting up there now. It's like close to 10,000 views. But let me just try to make up for it a little bit now in this video. Now, like I said, I really love G. Fredo's music. I'm personally a big fan. Do I think that maybe the reason he got to a higher plateau than other Boston rappers out there right now is because of his big federal RICO case and the coverage of it? Yes, I do. To a certain extent, yes. There have been multiple YouTube videos made about it, some upwards to a couple million views. Also, you have guys like 1090 Jake and Adam22 talking about it on major platforms like No Jumper, so of course that kind of exposure is going to help. A lot of Boston rappers can get double-digit views, like 10K or above. A few can get 100K views, but Fredo's the only one that has videos with a few million views. Now, did the vileness of Die Holmes and the big federal RICO case have something to do with this? Of course it did. You'd be full of it to say that that doesn't contribute to him being so well known. But with that being said, the dude is crazy talented. The song They Don't Know is literally one of my favorite songs, period. He shows that he's more than just a drill rapper. He can spit those hard street bars, but in this song, he goes beyond that. He makes you feel him. That's what separates great artists from good ones. Nas and Biggie might have been better lyrically, but people loved Pac because you could feel him. Now, I'm not even capping. When I listened to the song They Don't Know for the first time with headphones on, it literally gave me goosebumps. Then, at around 2 minutes and 45 minutes into the song, he just digs down somewhere deep and puts it into another gear and leaves everyone in the dust. This young man is incredibly talented. To be able to put his life experience, and he's a real dude, into his music like that, keeping his hard edge but also showing his soul, it's a unique talent. So, like I said, all the publicity around the case helped catapult him, but it was well deserved. He more than has the talent to back it up. And he represents another huge aspect of Boston's hood culture, the Cape Verdeans of Dorchester. The conflict that Fredo's away for right now is one of the deadliest and most heated feuds in Boston's history. The Cape Verdean conflict, which started in the 1990s, is about as unique to Boston as anything else. No other city even has a sizable Cape Verdean population outside the state of Massachusetts. But back to the music. Lose Yourself, This Is My City. In here are also good Fredo tracks as well. He does some collabs with his boy 7981 Cal on the Dead Op series. I like Cal, his tracks. Trap Addict and Paranoid with Hammer Thing are good, but Fredo's a way better rapper. I honestly can't wait for him to come home. I really hope he gets right back into the music. I would have to think some major labels would be very interested in him when he comes out. We'll have to wait and see. Another one of his songs that's a favorite of mine is Pain. It's another heartfelt song. You can feel his soul and it's got a great beat. Obviously, Die Holmes is a classic, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that have a problem with that song, especially the video. I just had to give Fredo his due respect, especially after that video I made last year. Literally, I had less than 100 subscribers back then, so give me a break, alright? So before I get into my two top rappers that are currently not serving a long federal prison sentence, I wanted to give a couple quick shout outs to some honorable mentions, some up and coming rappers from Boston. E Glizzy reppin' Southie. That's right, baby, Southie. Some people who think Southie is like The Departed, or on the other hand, a bunch of Starbucks drinking yuppies. Check out E Glizzy's Welcome to D Street. I bet the D Street projects look a little different than some people might have thought. It's not a bunch of Irish guys in scully caps. D Street is mostly a Latino hood now. That's a good track, plus he's got a song called Stick On Me. He did a part 2 with W Jizzel. Bodies on Bodies is a decent track too. He's someone to keep an eye on. Also, another young Spanish cat from the Villa Victoria projects in the South End. I'll give him a shout out. 076 Jivo. He does mostly straight drill music, but he's pretty good. So I'm adding this in as I'm editing. I forgot to mention one of my favorite things that 076 Jivo does is he goes, whoa! Whenever he starts his song, he starts a rap, he goes, whoa! And he wears like shirts that say WOE. I'm sure it probably stands for something that I'm totally unaware of, but I don't know. I think it's funny how he always starts like his signature thing. He goes, whoa! And also, I meant to add in a little thing also earlier when I was saying how there's no cities outside of Massachusetts that have any type of Cape Verdean populations. That's not true. Providence, Pawtucket, and I'm sure some other cities in Rhode Island. Rhode Island has some Cape Verdean populations too, so I'm sure some people will give me in the comments saying, we got Cape Verdeans down here too, man. So alright, I just wanted to add those two things in real quick. Jivo's on the drill anthem EBK, and also to a smaller extent, maybe not an anthem, but the song Op Hunting. My favorite solo work of his is Ball Game. Chattin' is a pretty good song as well. Then one more young rapper I'll shout out is Glizmo. He's out of the Charlene Park Homes 2. I like his song on Jetpack TV, Is You Ready? Any drill song that uses that Godier song as a sample is money in my opinion. Anyhow, I just wanted to give a couple up and comers some recognition. Now to the big dogs of the Boston rap scene. It's tough for me personally to pick one of these guys as a number one or a number two, especially because they absolutely hate each other and are part of one of Boston's most epic rivalries, Heath Street and Mission Hill. But with G. Fredo locked up, I have to say King Bricks and Trotty Y. Jizzle are two of the best rappers in the city currently, hands down. I'm personally a fan of both these guys as well. King Bricks is incredibly talented. He's also from one of Boston's most famous hoods, Mission Hill, aka Money Hill. Check out the old track, Blue and Yellow, to get a feel for what Mission Hill was like back in the day. Unfortunately, it's being heavily gentrified currently, but I like Bricks and his style. He's really about the street. The song Glad Baggies is an absolute trap anthem. It starts like, real trappers scrape the pot till their shoulders pop. And then he says, I know some girls who really made their fetty off a wop. You know he's talking about WAP WAP, right? That song's fire. Now, Bricks has been around for a minute. He's got some songs on YouTube that are like 7 years old, like Bend It Back, which is all in auto tune. It's not really my style. So, Bricks is from Mission Hill, but he reps Debo Gang. They got some pretty cool merch, and I'm not sure exactly where you can get it, but if you can cop it, it's pretty sick. I like his song 24 that he did with Big Body Benz, who's also from Mission. I heard they got into some sort of falling out and they actually got into a fight. That dude Benz is jacked. I don't think I'd want to fight him. I heard it was over beats. Bricks was making beats and keeping them and not sharing with the other dudes. I'm not sure how reliable that info is, but that's what I heard. I will say though that Bricks is becoming a pretty talented producer. One of the first beats he said he made was for the song that he did with the legendary Styles P called Scared of Us. I think that song is absolute fire. I also think Brick's verse is better than P's, and if he's making beats and producing songs like that himself, then he's miles ahead of most of these other cats. If he can step up his production game, he could be the guy that takes himself and other Boston rappers over the hump. He's already doing it, collabing with Styles P and on another track called 10 Toes Down with Jada Kiss, which again, Bricks keeps right up with the legend Jada, saying, "Your nana could know my nana and I still wouldn't spare you." I'm not sure if he made these connections through G Nipsey, who's boys with Millyz, who in turn is down with Jada Kiss. Man, it's like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon for crying out loud. Rick's collabs with G Nipsey on the song Street Ish. It's a different word, but I try not to curse on my channel. Mission and G Nipsey's Hood Port 44 in Cambridge have an alliance. A couple other songs by Bricks that are worthy of mention are The Way It Goes, his block work TV performance Pain Music, where it's crazy how much better Bricks is than the other guys he's rapping with. Also his Jetpack TV performance Face to Face is fire. It's also the second most viewed Jetpack video right behind Fetty G's, RIP Fetty. But I guess Bricks addressed some of the stuff that happened with him recently in that freestyle. Like I said, I think Bricks has what it takes to make it big beyond Boston. If he can cut off toxic people, stay out of the street, and really focus on producing, he's got what it takes in my opinion. Now for the final Boston rapper to discuss on this video. Besides G Fredo, my favorite current Boston rapper, the top op, W Jizzel. Like I said, I hate having to put one of these guys in front of the other, especially because they hate each other so much. And let me clarify, it's no music beef. This isn't any made up drill beef. Heath Street and Mission Hill is an old beef and it's current with the new generation. These two guys are not going to bury the hatchet anytime soon, unfortunately. Trotty Y Jizzle is my favorite, not only because he's a talented rapper, but he really embodies what the city of Boston is about. Not only is he from one of Boston's most infamous hoods, the Bromley Heath Projects in Jamaica Plain, aka JP, aka Jurassic Park, but his father was from the Op Block, the dreaded H Block. That's such a great example of what Boston is about. No matter who you are or where you're from, you're going to have family in an op block, maybe multiple op blocks. It's just an incredibly uniquely Boston thing that Trotty Y Jizzle's dad was from H Block. Sadly, his father was killed a while back. Apparently, he was on his lunch break from work. RIP. Y Jizzle was originally from Franklin Hill, another notorious Boston hood, but he's lived in Heath Street since like 11 and he's been a member of the Heat since like 13. His mother's family, the Dailies, are a huge, well-known family in the Heath Street projects. That's the way Boston is set up. Families in the projects in certain hoods are almost like clans, like the Jenkins from Humboldt Ave or the Johnsons from Corbett, for example. He talks about how his Nana's generation, they used to only hook up with other people from the same project, but now the younger generation tries to go outside because you never know who your cousin might be. Y Jizzle is one of the most talented high level rappers in the city, and he's also incredibly funny, entertaining, and personable. And he also comes off like a real genuine dude. To put it simple, he's very likable, and the guy's got a real star potential. Sleazy Flow Remix is good, but Y Jizzle has straight drill anthems like EBK, Disrespectful, and Drill Mode with the Dido sample that Eminem uses in Stan. Drill Mode's a fire song. Also, I really like the song Facts, where in the beginning they burn a Trailblazers hat. Man, I guess they got smoke with OP too. Sheesh. But Ricky Maserati is on Facts and the song EBK. He deserves a shout out too. He's a really good rapper. When he comes on Facts, he sounds like a real high level rapper. He definitely stands out on songs with multiple rappers. And I just want to give him his due as well. He deserves a shout out. So shout out Ricky Maserati. Y Jizzel also puts a lot of his little homies on too. They got the whole Trotty gang. I like Trotty J and Trotty Moolah. They do live performances in the basement of the Bromley Heath projects. That's live from the trenches, baby. People really don't get Boston. It's a shame. I hope one of these guys break out before they gentrify out every remaining hood in the city. But Y Jizzle shows he's more than just a drill rapper with songs like Love Scars and When I Die. But his song The Real is my personal favorite pain/meaningful song. It shows to me that he can do more than just drill rap and can appeal to a wider audience. And I find it endearing how much he loves his Nana and always mentions her in his songs and even has whole songs dedicated to her. My Yaya was my favorite person before I had kids. That's another thing I respect about Jizzle. He has 4 kids and he seems to love his kids and want the best for them. He says he doesn't care what they do as long as they don't get involved in the gang life. That's his biggest regret, he says. I wish he would express that more in his music. He's very honest and open about it in interviews. He says he's in too deep now and he can't get out, and that's sad to hear. The guy has so much talent and potential, but he can't get out of the mess and he keeps going in and out of jail. He's a real one, though. In one interview I saw, he answers like 3 separate jail calls. He certainly doesn't forget where he came from, but maybe if he could just like a little bit, he would break out. But that's just for me on the outside looking in. I understand that he can't just turn his back on all that. But I do wish that he would express the message more in his music. So many impressionable kids listen to his music and idolize him. It would be a positive message to put out there in the world and it would probably save some kids' lives. The youth definitely rocks with Y Jizzle. Anyway, he's my favorite current Boston rapper. Definitely my current favorite Boston rap personality. He's hilarious in interviews, talking about being on the bracelet. How's he going to get a telly with a girl? Spend $800 when he can't stay there because he's on the bracelet. He's going to spend $800 for 20 minutes and then leave. He said, come on, man, I got 4 kids. Guy had me cracking up. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I hope you guys go check out these artists' music. My hope is that some people from outside Boston will watch this and discover rappers they never heard of before. And ultimately, the big goal is to bring Boston and Massachusetts rap scene and its deep culture to a wider audience's attention. People just have such a misconception of what Boston is really like. This was just a little change of pace video. I figured I'd get off the mob's jock for a minute. But definitely be looking out for my next Boston true crime documentary style video. I'll have it out hopefully next weekend. It's going to be a good one, I promise, guys. Until then, check out these rappers, and if you already know them, go back and listen to their stuff some more. Always support local Boston and Massachusetts artists, and of course, if you want to, support your local favorite clam digger/YouTuber too. But most of all, guys, make good choices, make good decisions, take good care of yourselves, your family, your friends, your fellow human beings. Try to have a good day. I'll talk to you soon. God bless.